Hey lords and ladies, it's Lifeline 127 again. Thought I'd make a video today about attack formations and a little bit about the mechanics in the game around attacking. This generally applies whether you're solo attacking, whether you're rally attacking, whether you're attacking a dark nest or another player. Pretty much all of the attacking. The example I think that I have for today is from Dragon Arena, so there's no wall to contend with. I'll briefly mention walls probably, um, but with that, let's go ahead and get started. So most of my videos are for people that aren't Castle 25 and haven't been playing a long time, and this video is no different. I myself am not Castle 25 and have not been playing for a long time. There's a few different formations for attacking. There is a formation for Infantry Phalanx, there's a formation for Cavalry, and a formation for Ranged. There's also a complete second set of formations called the Wedge formations, and there's one of those for each Infantry, Cavalry, and Range. Today I'm just going to be talking about Infantry. It's really the only one I have. And until you're higher level, it's the only one that you will have. So we'll talk about it a little bit today and understand how it works and give you some things to think about as you're doing your own attacking. So the formation for Infantry Phalanx looks like this. So the icons here represent the different unit types. You have your infantry, then your cavalry, then your ranged, and then these siege devices in the back. The wall would be here along the right border if you were attacking a wall, or the enemy troops would be over here if you were attacking troops. So each of these units is made up of the infantry troops that you send into the fight, right? So the shield is the infantry. If you send all tier 1 type units, they will be equally divided up across these 4 squads. So if you send 1,000 infantry, all T1, you'll have 250 troops in each of these 4 squads. That goes the same for cavalry, ranged, and siege. Now, if you send multiple tiers of units, so say you send tier 1 infantry and tier 2 infantry, they also get split up evenly. So you'll have an even number of tier 1, an even number of tier 2, and so on in each of your units for all of your unit types, infantry, cavalry, and range. It's important to know a little bit about the formations. Again, you're going to have infantry formation for the first while. It's the default one, and until you unlock additional, it's all you'll have. Things to keep in mind is infantry is fairly slow and cavalry is fast. So you have to consider the rate at which they advance forward. Now, because cavalry is faster than infantry, in some formations it can literally pass the infantry on the way advancing. But in this formation, I don't usually see that happen. The infantry starts close enough to the middle, or what I'll call the pinch point, which is where the troops all get pinched together and fight, that they'll make it there first. And that'll come in important when we start talking about targeting. So if we look at how targeting works, let me bring up another Infantry Phalanx window and flip this one around. So now this represents an Infantry Phalanx over here attacking an Infantry Phalanx over here. And of course, initially there might be a wall in the middle depending on what you have going on. But if we just assume the wall's gone and we look at this, how does this work? We've already talked about how the squads are set up with the troops of a specific type in a squad spread evenly, and then within that even distribution is also the tiers of the squad, tier 1 through 5. All infantry and cavalry squads move forward until they get to what I call the pinch point, to where the battle is. Range doesn't move forward. They pretty much take a step or two forward and then they stop moving and they target and start to fire. So the range will stay in the back. So in your pinch point, in this type of formation where you have an infantry phalanx fighting an infantry phalanx, in your pinch point you'll have 4 infantry squads, 4 cavalry squads for each side, for a total of 8 and 8 in the pinch point fighting. This of course is assuming that both commanders sent infantry units and cavalry units. If you don't send any infantry units, let's say you're the attacker, this area of your formation will have no units in it, and you will just have cavalry back here on the sides, ranged and siege. This will be empty. There'll be no units there. So your first units arriving at the pinch point will be these cavalry units. Similarly, if you don't have any range, this back row will be empty. So you'll only have units made of what you send. Again, a maximum of, there'll always be 4 units as long as you send at least 4 troops, because your troop count's spread evenly. Okay, so if you think about how this works, as these units move forward, each unit will target an enemy unit. So in this case, this unit will target this unit will target this unit will target this unit, etc. As the cavalry moves up, the cavalry will then also target its nearest enemy. So this cavalry row here will arrive first. They'll target one of these 2 infantry units. Then this cavalry unit will arrive and it'll target one of these 2 infantry units. That's how I normally see it work. Again, the targeting happens when they come into initial contact. They'll stay locked on to that unit until the unit is dead, or your attacking unit is dead. The only time they will retarget is once they have completely destroyed the unit they were targeting. They will target the next closest unit and start fighting that. And as you watch your battle reports, you can see the health bars above the units. And by watching that, you can get some idea over time of how things are going to target. So let's wrap this up with a little example. Let's take a look at a battle from our guild's Dragon Arena just today. So this is actually us defending a position in the Dragon Arena, led by TGI, who did a great job. And we can see that the lineup of the attackers was in fact an Infantry Phalanx, and our lineup of our defenders was also an Infantry Phalanx. If we take a look at the battle report, we can see what the fight involved. We can see that we had 40,000 heroic fighters, with about another 40,000 range and only 10,000 cavalry. We can see the attackers came in with about 40,000 range and 20,000 cavalry. Now, this is an important thing to note. They sent no infantry at all. And then in Tier 2, similar, the defense had infantry and range and a few cavalry. The attackers came in with range and cavalry only. So if we think about that in our formation, what does that look like? So we know right out of the gate, if we line these up like this, we know that the attackers coming in an infantry phalanx, which is what this shows, this front line is going to be empty. They sent no infantry. So they're going to be sending these 4, the cavalry. And they're going to arrive, this unit will arrive to the pinch at the same time as this unit, and then these 2 units will arrive very shortly thereafter. They'll be attacking, on this side, a full line of infantry with a very small amount of cavalry behind it. I think it was like 10,000 units. So what's that mean? That means these two units are going to target the closest two infantry when they get to the pinch point. These 4 infantry units are going to target the closest units when they get to the pinch point, which will most likely only be 2, because these 2 units will arrive just slightly before these 2, which means you'll have 4 units attacking 2 units. When the cavalry arrives a few seconds later, they will then also target units, which most likely will be these first 2, although it could end up that a 3rd one gets in the mix, or technically a 4th one. If we think about the range, both teams sent range. Again, the range isn't going to really advance to the pinch point, so the range here is going to target the front line here. Okay, so if we think about our attack triangle, I can bring that up as I call it the attack triangle. This cavalry that they're sending in is going to be fighting infantry. It's going to be doing a pretty good job. Cavalry does well against infantry. Infantry doesn't do as well against cavalry, but this infantry is backed up with cavalry. So there will be some cavalry on cavalry, which is a fair fight. Let's look and see what the back line's going to do. The range over here is going to be hitting infantry because it's the closest units. So they're going to target the closest units to themselves, which is this infantry line. Range does not very well against infantry. So while they will be targeting and firing, they're not going to be as effective as they could be. If we look on this side, we have range over here that will be firing at the front. Again, there is no infantry to send, so the front will be these cavalry units that move into the pinch point. We can see range does quite well against cavalry. So this range, all this cavalry and all this infantry will be fighting the cavalry front line, whereas on the attacker side, the cavalry will be fighting the infantry front line, and the range will be fighting the infantry front line. But you can see there's a lot more squads fighting in the battle against the attackers than there are attackers fighting against defenders because of the structure of not sending infantry in this particular case. Let's take a look at the video and see how it plays out. Alright, right out of the gate we can see our formations. We can see the attackers have their 2 cavalry lines. We can see their range back here in the back. And on the defender side we can see the 4 squads of infantry in the front, backed up by 2 squads of cavalry on either side, and then the range in the back. Again, the first thing we should see is this range will stop advancing and start firing, and everybody will meet in the pinch point. So here we can see we've already started a volley, and we can see that 2 squads of the attackers, both cavalry, because that's all they have been targeted, and we can tell by the health bars. Okay, and we can see that those 2 front squads targeted the nearest squads, which were an infantry squad, and so now the targeting has started on both sides, and the skirmish starts. We can see that the 2nd Cavalry Squad that arrived down here picked a different unit to target here, so I'm not sure right now what it is targeted, but we can see that they did target 2 separate units, as we can tell from the health bars. We can see their cavalry is really getting beat up. The range in the back is firing at the front line. I think we saw a unit die right there. Back this up. Yeah, we can see one of the cavalry units failed on the attacking side, and they automatically retargeted the next unit, which is the 2nd Cavalry unit for this lower side. This top cavalry unit's about to die. There, died. And so now they're retargeting the closest, which is this last cavalry unit, and they overwhelm it. Pretty standard stuff. It's interesting to read your battle report and to think about the formation, and from the battle report before you watch the video, try to make a prediction on how the battle's going to go. Obviously there's a lot more to it. You have to start to think about the heroes involved and any familiars involved, but I thought this might be helpful at a very basic level to think about the targeting systems and the mechanics of the battles. And if you're interested, maybe we can look at a few more. So have a great day. Talk to you soon. Don't forget to like and share the video.